Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy.
Insights, ahas, and fun await as we dive deep into the subconscious to help you get more aligned with your goals to attract greater prosperity, love, health, vitality, abundance in every area of your life, and help you to have greater, healthier space and boundaries. Learn how to ground and cut your cords and receive a prosperity healing. So stay tuned because I can't wait to be with you.
So Tiffany has my number with the whole invisibility thing that it's like, if I'm sitting there complaining about being invisible.
What? You want to get married? What?
Tiffany is gold for blind spot stuff. So I'm like, I can't see why I keep bumping into this. And Tiffany is like, but I can see why you're bumping into this.
Just work with Tiffany.
I made the first step in I'm important, I'm investing in myself.
Is there an area of your life that you want to improve, but you keep like banging your head up against the wall and things aren't improving as fast as you want them to? Perhaps it's in the area of health and vitality, or maybe it's prosperity and abundance. Like you want to grow your business or get ahead or have better return on your investments. Or perhaps you need to open up your heart and feel safer and more vulnerable and open to receiving love. My name's Tiffany Cano, and all of those things are in my wheelhouse. I'm the host of Soul of an Empath podcast. I'm the CEO of Highly Perceptive People Academy. I love, love, love what I do. I've been getting paid for healing since I was a small kid. I've always been able to see clairvoyantly. Like I have clairvoyance, which is seeing, clairaudience, which is hearing, like hearing the whispers from our soul, hearing angels, claircognizance, which is a knowingness, knowing a subject that you've never even studied. Clairsentience, which is the feeling. So like my empathic fellow empaths, my fellow empaths are usually in the clairsentient department where we can feel things, feel other people's emotions, feel the energies in a space. Perhaps you don't even identify as being empathic, yet you step into a room where, before you were feeling positive and energized, and then you walk into that room and your energy level drops, or you start feeling the anxiety or stress or fear of other people around you. Or maybe you just have that feeling that you need to reach out to and talk to somebody, and then ring, ring. They just picked up the phone and called you, right? So I love helping empathic, intuitive, spiritual souls who are looking to up-level their lives. And I have been teaching transformation workshops for 25 years. I work with people individually, one-on-one over the phone. I have group programs and I teach many, many workshops. So for every 100 to 200 conscious thoughts that you have, there's 11 million subconscious thoughts. So what that means is on the surface at your conscious mind, you might be thinking, I'm open to making more prosperity and abundance. But in that 11 million below that, there's these little voices and chitter chatter about, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving. Or maybe it's an imprint that you picked up from your parents growing up, where maybe you heard them say things like, it's hard to make money. Or maybe they yelled at you like, money doesn't grow on trees. Or, you know, you broke that. And just like the energy that they put behind what they said had you feel bad about yourself, or have you make up some sort of story that, in this case, money is bad, or that you don't deserve money, or that you're a bad person. Another thing that can influence and affect us is negative energies that we might pick up from generation to generation. So some of the energies that you might be carrying could be from your ancestors, and we can clear that out. We can also look at what might be affecting you from perhaps a past life and release that too. So just out of curiosity, what level of intuition and what types of intuition do you have? The clairvoyant, the seeing, the claircognizant, which is the feeling. I'm sorry, the knowing, the clairsentience, which is the feeling, and the clairaudience, which is to hear. So if this is something that you already have as a muscle, a spiritual muscle, or maybe you want to grow those, I help people a lot with that and be able to turn it on and off when you want to. Because if you're like looking clairvoyantly and everything looks like it's in 3D, and then you walk into a crowded room, that can be overloading. That can feel overwhelming. So I also teach people how to dial it down or push pause, turn it off for a little bit, and let you, be in a particular room and environment. So out of curiosity, which type of intuition are you experiencing and or wanting to hone? Great. Okay, moving on. Another topic that I love teaching about is holding your space and boundaries for people like us who are, that we can feel more of the energies that are going on, or maybe you get emotionally triggered pretty quickly and easily. So we need to talk about spaces and boundaries. And let me first tell you about the different types of spaces that we have. So we've got a spiritual space, and this is great for praying, for meditating, for receiving that intuition and guidance that we were just talking about. We have a mental space, which is good for thinking, writing a book, writing an email, communicating. We have an emotional space. This one is good for allowing us to be with our emotions as well as other people's. And when we don't have that capacity, we can get triggered much, much, much more often. We also have a time space. This is a space that we need time to do our various things on our to-do list. And if you're anything like me, who's a mover and a shaker, your time space is probably got a lot of stuff. So we can talk about that too. And there's also a physical space. And this is the kind of space that we need for our physical being. But there's also like a physical space in our home, an office space. We can have a relationship space. Okay, so all of these spaces, when they're nice and big and beautiful, it gives us capacity to be the best version of ourselves. And when they're small, it makes it hard to think, hard to feel. It's often a sense of overwhelm. It can make it to where we're like get so small that people can't even see us or hear us. And so you wonder why your products and services are not selling. It's because there might be something hiding you, and it could be you. The gift that I'm giving in this event is my money magnet program, which is 20 minutes of prosperity healings for 20 days. So every single day has a different topic on money and a different healing for money. So if you go to moneymagnetprogram.org, moneymagnetprogram.org, you can get access to my money magnet program. So let's talk about our spaces in a different capacity. So we have an energetic space bubble. Okay. This is like our sense of self. The average person's space bubble is, about 3 to 5 feet from their body. Now, people who are very spiritual, very meditative, that space bubble can be even miles big. So I recommend that whatever your level is right now, allow it to be a little bit bigger. And we're going to work on the boundary that's on the edge and throughout it as well. Okay, so imagine that space bubble. Good. Intuitively, do you get a sense of where it's at? Like touch your heart, drop into your heart space. What did you notice? Now, let me also teach you a tool that you can use where you can scan to physically feel how big it is. So touch your palms, the centers of your hands, and each fingertip. Forming the intention that you're activating the chakras and energy centers within your hands so that you can feel, like follow along and do what I'm doing. Okay. And next, do some wrist whirls. And in the other direction as well. Okay. Good. Whew. Relax. Put your hands about a foot apart and just breathe, allowing the energy and the space in between your hands to just get bigger and to also just feel it. When you're feeling energy, it's a feeling thing, not a thinking activity. So drop into your heart space even more and breathe, being aware of the energy and the space in between your hands. And let your hands slowly move in and out, feeling the energy between them slowly and gently. It might feel subtle. You might feel a tingliness or a pressure or a change in temperature or like an energetic pull in between your hands. Good. Very good. Now, I'm going to pick this one. Imagine this is you. Okay, let me try to put it. Well, okay, so see the person that's inside of that space bubble there? That's the one. Okay, you can use a prop like this and you can scan and see the size of your space. So, if you're using a prop or you're scanning what's on the screen, you can see the size and the quality of your space now. And then after we do some more healing and prayers afterwards, you'll notice some shifts. Okay, so just for the moment, go ahead and scan, or you can scan as if you're standing in the inside looking out and feeling how big it might be. Is it 1 foot, 2 foot, 5 feet? How big? 20 feet? How big? Good. So just note the size and the quality. Is it even? Like on the top and the bottom, is it even? Is it even in the front and in the sides and in the back? Is it even above your head? Is it even below your feet? Good. So we're also going to work on not only the size and the quality of our space, but the energetic boundaries. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about holding space versus shields. Being, spiritual and sensitive growing up, I could feel so much. I mean, I could feel the energy of what people were thinking. If they were sad, I could feel sadness inside me. If they were happy, I could feel the happy. If they were stressed out, I could feel stressed out. And when I was younger, like in a kid through a good chunk of my 20s, I didn't know how to discern the difference between other people's thoughts and feelings and my own thoughts and feelings. Can you relate? Yeah. So once I learned more about boundaries, it saved my booty. And I stopped getting so triggered and slimed and tired and overwhelmed. And I want to help you feel the same. So let's discern between shields and boundaries. When I was, a teen and in my 20s, studying with different spiritual teachers, they would talk about creating a bubble of white light and pray. And I learned all these tools about how to make an energetic shield. And that was at a conscious level. And when I would say probably in my late 20s, early 30s, one of my very best friends said to me, when you put those shields up, it hurts me. I actually feel a big distance from you. And like you're closed off, you're blocked off, and it hurts. And that woke me up. I was like, oh, what if there's a better way? And so that's when I started to dive deep into boundary work. And I picked up, pieces from different transformation leaders at the various workshops that I was attending. And then I got a ton of intuitive downloads, which I then began teaching about. Okay. So once I stopped creating those conscious energetic shields of protection and started to replace it with healthy space and boundaries, my income skyrocketed. It doubled that year. And then the next year, I worked half as hard and I made the same amount. And then the year after that, it doubled again. And I'm making so much more money now than I did, earlier in my healing career. So let me talk to you also about the other kinds of defensive guards and walls that might be blocking your money and your love and your health and your joy and your blessings and all those good things from coming in. Okay. So we talked about the conscious guards. What about the subconscious guards? Okay. The subconscious guards, walls, and shields. Well, those are the ones that we often create when we're feeling afraid. And many of them probably even started when you were a child. Your inner child like put up one of these subconscious guards, walls, and to protect you so you'd feel safe. So some of the common walls, and this isn't the full list because I've seen about 12 or 13 different walls, but here's a few common walls. Maybe you feel a coldness from someone, like they're just cold, they're cut off, they're cold. And they just have this, it's kind of like this distance and just this coldness. Or maybe you feel energy that's sharp and pokey coming out of them towards you, which, ouch, that hurts. Or perhaps you've done this or had this done to you when you were angry or someone was angry at you. It was like a fire breathing dragon, wall of fire. And that also hurts, right? When you've got like this fire breathing dragon energy. And that is one of those defensive guards and walls that we might subconsciously create around ourselves, or someone created and kind of blew that dragon fire at us. Another common wall is invisibility. So if you have been, for example, judged or criticized as a kid, made fun of, bullied, for example, your self-protection mechanism may have been to hide. Are you still hiding? Take a look. If your checking account isn't at the amount that you want, you might still be hiding, or you might have one or more of these defensive guards and walls. Another kind is like an electric shield, like zaps, it feels like someone just zapped you. Has that ever happened? Okay. So I told you that in those first few years, I dropped the conscious protective shields and I started working on boundaries and everything improved. But then I saw all of these defensive guards, walls, and shields. Okay. And that was like gold. It was very uncomfortable, but the results were golden. I mean, things really shifted after that in my life and has helped so many clients as well. So what energetic defensive walls and guards and shields do you have up? Do you know? Here's one way to check. So touch your heart Drop into your heart. Okay. So, like, shift down from your head into your heart. Smile at your heart. Your heart has so much wisdom and intuition. And just ask yourself, which types of defensive guards, walls, and shields do I have? What did you notice? Good. Pat yourself on the back for whatever you discovered. Can I teach you some more? Are you ready? Okay. And, as we go through this, I really want you to not only see these ahas that are affecting your health, your finances, your relationships, and your spiritual connection, but also begin to release and heal them. Okay. Actually, I want to do this one next. So, our core wounds are things like, I don't feel loved. I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard. I don't feel understood. I don't feel safe. I don't feel like I belong. And these can often happen when we're very young. Maybe you were playing with your toys and mommy or daddy yelled at you. You're making such a mess. Pick up those toys. And your inner child could have interpreted that conversation as mommy or daddy's mad at me. Mommy or daddy doesn't like me. Mommy or daddy doesn't love me. And it might even had you feel unsafe. And so these deep core wounds that I help to release and facilitate healing for don't have to be a big trauma. It doesn't have to be like a physical or sexual or big trauma. It can be something like, mommy or daddy was too busy. They were trying to read the paper or check their emails or watch TV, and they're like, brushing you off, and you felt ignored and you felt unseen and you felt unheard and you felt unloved. Did anything like that happen? Or maybe one of your siblings or a kid in the playground or school was making fun of you or bullying you or judging or criticizing you for something, making fun of your hair, or your clothes, or your shoes, or trying to steal your lunch money. Those kinds of wounds can have you feel judged and criticized, which then has you feel unworthy and undeserving and unsafe and needing to guard and protect yourself. And so those core wounds, are there. And then what's wrapped around it is oftentimes these layers of numbness and other types of defensive walls that I've already previously mentioned. And these can be layer upon layer upon layer. And that's why there's a common saying in the transformation world about, peeling away the layers of the onion. Well, I like to think of it like peeling away the layers of the artichoke, because once you clear those out, what's left is the heart. Yeah. And we get to be with you in your true essence. Would you like that? Yeah. So let's looking at this picture in a little more detail. So at this conscious level, you might be thinking, I want to make more money. or thinking, I want to be open and receptive to love. And then below that, we've got some of those subconscious guards and walls and shields. And then below that, we have the core wound of I don't feel safe. I don't feel loved. And so I'll often clairvoyantly see someone's timeline and like look all the way to what the originating trauma or experience was. So you could have had a recent trauma, right? A recent trigger, but what's behind that? What's underneath it? Let's get to the core. Let's get to the center of that artichoke and work on releasing those core wounds. Okay. May I share another thing about wounds? So, when we have these wounds, it then leads us to create these beliefs about ourselves. The I don't feel worthy, I don't feel deserving, which then leads to different stories that we make up and different questions that we live by. So, an experience in and of itself is neutral, but we add on to that experience our stories, our beliefs, our wounds. We add onto it. So 5 different people could have 5 different experiences, and maybe only 2 of them got triggered. The other 3 were neutral because they didn't have a belief and a story that would trigger them. So this can be very empowering when we clear this stuff out. Now, let me share with you another type of wound and bonding pattern that often needs to be cleared out. And that would be the 8 toxic parent-child bonding patterns. So let me tell you a little bit about those and how they can affect us in today's world. So, number 1, perhaps you had a dismissive parent. So one that's like, shoo, shoo, I'm busy. And that energy of I'm too busy for you could lead to beliefs and wounds around I'm not seen, I'm not heard, I'm not valued, I'm not loved, which then probably has you, until you heal that bonding pattern, it'll show up like a mirror in other people in your life who do the same kind of habits towards you until you heal it. The second is controlling. So maybe there's a parent that like always kind of had their thumb down on you, and that thumb down and the controlling will then have the child feel insecure about making their own decisions. And so they grow up emotionally kind of stunted, like not feeling high self-esteem because they're not really used to even making enough decisions for themselves. And they probably attract other people who are pretty controlling, personally or professionally, until that bonding pattern is healed. Number 3, unavailable. Perhaps a parent worked where they traveled a lot for their job, or maybe they were emotionally unavailable, or mentally unavailable, or physically unavailable. And that could lead to wounds like mommy or daddy doesn't like me. I'm not worthy. I'm a bad girl or a bad boy, because if I was better, they would want to spend time with me. Take a deep breath. By the way, I want to congratulate you for being willing to be brave to be in this safe space to dive into some of this stuff, because I know it's not always comfortable. However, when we get to the other side, it can be tremendously freeing. So please stick with me. All right. Number four, enmeshed. So this is a pattern of codependency, symbiosis, and enmeshment. There can be positive enmeshment and positive symbiosis where the word, and don't let the word fool you. Okay. Positive symbiosis looks like mother and child being best friends, parent and child being so close, best friends. But even in psychology, they say that's an unhealthy bonding pattern. There's not a distinct parent-child role. And then a negative symbiosis is there's probably a lot of like and anger and like agitation between the two, which then can lead to number 5, combative, right? So lots of bumping of heads. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Number 6, unreliable. So maybe mommy or daddy said, oh, I'll pick you up after school, and they forget to show up, or they show up an hour late, or they say they're going to go to your baseball game and they don't, or they say they're going to buy you a car and they don't, or they say they'll pay for your college and they don't, or they say they'll be there at your award ceremony and they don't. Okay. So unreliable parents can also lead to wounds around not feeling worthy, not feeling loved, and insecurities connected to that. Number 7, self-involved. So it might be a parent who's like the center of their own universe. Like the kid is just kind of an afterthought or in the periphery, but the world revolves around the parent. Number 8, role reversed. Perhaps there was an alcoholic or a drug addict parent, or they just got ill or sick. And then the child had to take care of that parent and be in a caregiver type of role, which then has them grow up usually pretty fast, carry a ton of weight on their shoulders. From a medical intuitive perspective, we might have to like release the weight that you're carrying on your shoulders so that you stop having that neck and shoulder and back pain. And from an emotional standpoint, you might have had the fun sucked out of your life. Like it's just not like you don't have that fun and play the way other kids do because you are busy adulting. And so you might have missed a section of childhood, and we can energetically help you to reclaim that also. Okay. Please take a deep breath. I've got you. You're safe. Great news is when you're ready to go in and do this inner work, I have a sweet deal for you. Normally, I do healing packages that are between 1 to 6 months because I really like to do that deep work. However, for you, when you act now, I will offer a half off for one session, which is normally $500, and I'll give it to you for $250. So I'll put the info up for you and you can take advantage of that within this next day. Okay. Want to keep learning more? Okay. Let me teach you something that can help you when you get triggered. Cord cutting. So every time you think, touch, talk, or look at somebody, there's an invisible energetic cord that goes from you to them or them to you. Some of these cords can be great cords, loving cords, happy cords, joy-filled cords. And many of them can be stress-filled cords, anger cords, jealousy cords, depression cords, sadness cords. And it can weigh on you and feel heavy. So, one of the techniques that I've learned in some of the energy healing modalities that I've done have taught me about cord cutting. And actually, the one that's the most detailed that I like is from Master Choa. And he says to cut the negative, unhealthy, unauthorized, dirty cords. So you use your hand, your dominant hand, like a knife or a sword, and you cut the negative, unhealthy, unauthorized, dirty cords, and you cut them along the front side of your body as well as on the back side. So to do the back side, you can imagine yourself in front of you and you can cut along the back. You can even cut along the sides of you. And just by doing that, it can like give you some extra energy. So follow me. Cut, cut along the front. So you're imagining that you've got a knife or a sword and cutting from above your head all the way down to your feet. You don't have to bend over, just extend the length of your knife, okay, or your sword. And then imagine yourself in front of you and cut along the back, cut along the sides, cut, cutting the negative, unhealthy, unauthorized, dirty cords. Take a deep breath. What do you notice? Yeah. Good. Most of my clients who do this feel lighter, feel brighter, feel more energy, feel like some weight has been taken off their shoulders. If there was an ache or a pain in their body and they cut the cords around that area, a lot of times it helps to relieve the pain too. Okay. That's a fun one. So let me teach you another tool. Grounding. When I'm feeling off-centered, upset, unwell, unbalanced, and just as a general rule of thumb, because I'm a bliss bunny, like I love meditating and I can float out into the ethers. However, I need to come back into my body and get grounded. So imagine energetic roots down into the earth from your feet and your perineum going down into the earth, minimum 10 feet deep, 10 feet wide, and physically look down at the ground with your eyes. And that will help you to ground further. And another reason why you want to ground is because I would imagine you want to make money. You need to be grounded in order to have the right energy to make money and receive money. And when you're more grounded, you won't get as triggered as easily. You'll feel like safer and more practical. So everyone ground. Energetic roots down, down. Very good. Deeper and wider. Thicker. Deeper, wider, thicker roots. Very good. Want to learn one more tool? This one is about money space. And I had us ground first because that's an important part when we're talking about prosperity and abundance. So our money space is the space that we need to make money. And I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was maybe 7 to 10 years ago. And as an entrepreneur, my monthly income was kind of going up and down. Like some months were bigger months than others because I would teach a program or do more healing sessions. And there was a month that it had dipped and I didn't like it. And I was praying about it. I was like, And I was kind of whining, if I'm being honest. I was kind of whining to God, like, God, why is this happening to me? How come this month is, such a crappy month? And the download that I got was expand your money space. I was like, what? What's a money space? It's the space you need to make money. Wow, really? So clairvoyantly, I was looking and my money space was very small compared to the months where I was making more prosperity. So I started doing a practice of expanding my money space. So would you like to bring in more ka-ching and prosperity and money space blessings? Okay. So, take a deep breath. Now, that space bubble that we talked about earlier, I want you to allow your money space to be what you focus on right now. And I'd like you to scan it again. So touch your centers of your palms and your fingertips just to reactivate the chakras and energy centers in your hands. Okay. All right, now form the intention that you're scanning your money space. So you can scan it like this, where it's like you're scanning this way. You can scan it like you're scanning out and feeling that, like the inside part of the bubble. Or you can imagine yourself small in front of you and you can scan. And I want you to see and feel the size and the quality of your money space. Is it big? Is it small? Is it even on all sides, front, back, sides, up, bottom, and top? Does it have peaks and valleys? Does it have holes and leaks and tears? What do you notice? Good. Now I'm going to do a little prayer to help bring in more prosperity. Okay. So open up your hands and keep your palms up on your lap, feet down, everything, arms and legs uncrossed, and open up and receive. Thank you, God, for showering them with prosperity and abundance. Lots and lots and lots of prosperity and abundance. May their money space be healed. May the impurities, the scarcity, the poverty consciousness, the doubt, the fear, the stress about money, the worry about money, the wounds about money, may they be dissolved, disintegrated, extracted, released, properly disposed of. I'm going to do a little healing for you for a minute or so. If you'll just let yourself be open and receptive. Yes, God. Thank you for deep, deep, deep inner healing and prosperity healing. Good. Receive. Good. Good job. Good. Take a deep breath. May the healing energies absorb, assimilate, and physicalize deeply, completely, and permanently now, now, now. Absorb, assimilate, and physicalize deeply, completely, and permanently now, now, now. So be it. Okay. By the way, I'm spraying my hands with rubbing alcohol or vodka. I use one of the two for a base, and some essential oils such as lavender and tea tree. And that helps to clean the film, the energetic film that goes on my hand. That's part of energetic as a healer. I also do that after I cut cords. So even if you don't have, say, rubbing alcohol handy or vodka handy, which I get Trader Joe vodka of the gods because I love the name, you can also use hand sanitizer. Okay. We keep it practical here. So now let's go back to feeling the size of your money space. Now, if you're trying to scan this way, from what I'm seeing is it's outside of your arms, like it's bigger than your arms. If you imagine yourself in front of you small like this, you're probably gonna need to imagine that you're much further away. So imagining that you're 5 feet away, 10 feet away, 20 feet away, until you feel how big it really is. Because if you're inside of it, you might not feel it accurately. Like you've got to zoom out and imagine yourself further away when you scan it. So when I teach this, sometimes people's money space can get really big, especially after doing like cleansing and prosperity blessings. So let yourself like accurately zoom out to get big enough and scan it. I did a class recently where the woman said, you know, it was pretty small. And then after a short, you know, prosperity healing with me in the class, it went to something like 30 acres big. So she measured it in acres. And then I had another person say it was miles big. And other people say it was like a couple 100 feet big, right? So just to give you an idea. And we can most definitely work on your prosperity and money space when you schedule your healing session with me and get it for half off.
Able to go through the layers. That's the part, the core wound exercises and getting through the numbness, which was a big thing for me, and kind of seeing how to
infiltrate that part of me in order for me to be more authentic as myself.
Some of the activities that Tiffany does, she has very body-oriented kinesthetic experiences that help us tap in to our intuition.
I tend to take on everybody else's stress and so forth. I see myself as giving off a lot, so I thought coming into this I would learn how to, set my boundaries and not offload my stress onto others. I got a bit of that, but I got a lot more.
That I can hold my boundaries and hold my space at the same time. I don't have to collapse either.
I uncovered some things that were in my unconscious that I had not expected.
So I've also learned a lot of great tools to kind of prepare and set better boundaries. So when you go out into the world, you're just not a big mess rolling around. You're just, you can contain yourself and just be responsible for who you are and accountable. And you don't have to be at the mercy of other people and how they trigger you.
When we hold our space, people respond to us in more compassionate, more loving, more spacious ways.
It's a divine yes. It was a yes that it came to me. The universe brought this yes to me, and I didn't know really what to expect, nor did I come with any idea of anything definite to get. But I am leaving with possibilities of a way to be in life that have before now been blocked.
I really look forward to contributing to you on a much deeper level. To me, this was just the beginning of our connection and our relationship, and it's going to go much, much deeper. I've had some clients work with me for years. Like there's a transformation leader who has been working with me for 12 or 13 years. And she was a millionaire when we started, and she's still a millionaire and then some. And I've worked on her family, her friends, her business. And I've been doing it every other week with her on the phone for 12, 13 years now. And she just loves it and tells everybody about it. So I've been loving all the ways that I can take people as deep as they're ready and wanting and willing to go. And we can focus on healing your heart. And even people who say they want more money, and I look, we probably have to heal your heart too. Like there's something there that needs to be healed so you can open up and feel safe enough to, put yourself out there and make money. So we can, dive in deep. I have many, many, many tools, so many tools that I've learned over the years, well over $500,000 worth of tools. And so many of them help to rewire, reshape, groove your subconscious so that you can be in alignment with your goals and create success in every single area of your life. So please do take advantage of this half off one session with me for only $250. And you can also, check me out on my YouTube channel, Highly Perceptive People Academy. I have many, many videos up there. I'm such a big giver. My heart just overflows. I can't contain it sometimes. So let me contribute to you, and together we can grow and elevate the consciousness of this planet. Much love and blessings.
Wow, I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.